If you study the logistics and heuristics of the mystics, you will find that their minds rarely move in a line. So it's much more realistic to abandon such ballistics and resign to be trapped on a leaf in the vine. Welcome to Nerds Gone Rogue, episode 1-2. Is it 4 or 5, Corey? I forgot.
125.
125.
Well, are we doing numbers? Because, I mean, I didn't know if the Game of the Year stuff was going to go up after.
Neither do I. It's whatever. It's Game of the Year 2018 time.
Yeah, part 1.
This is the Christmas Eve show. And, festively, I'm wearing my Christmas Wu-Tang sweater. So
Wu-Tang?
Yeah. I'll be wearing this next week too.
Well, if this is the Christmas Eve show, then it's 126.
Okay.
you guys will record 125 tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe.
Magic of editing and uploading and stuff.
Welcome to the future where time is whatever.
You know what I can tell you? Browns won today.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, they did. Beat the Panthers.
They did. They beat the Panthers 26-20.
Yeah.
And then the Eagles ended up losing. I don't know how the Bears did.
It was funny. The commentators were really like saying how they're throwing out all these stats about what's his face, Cam Newton, about like fourth quarter comebacks and only this, and this happened for him, and the only other person to do is Peyton Manning and whatever. For the first play on their drive to try to win the game, he throws an interception. I was like, yes.
That's fast acting karma, suckers. So yes, it is Game of the Year time. We're not even going to talk what we've been playing because we've already played everything in 2018.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about it.
Well,
so for the past week, we've been playing everything from 2018.
I tried.
Okay. And this will be your definitive look at the entire year as a whole. Except not really, because we all have lives. My name is Matthew Keel. I'm at @_rewind on every social media platform you could choose to follow me on. Alongside me, Corey Dierig, our video in chief. He's at Corey in HD 86 everywhere except PSN, where he is Rogue Spartan 4. And then on top of that, we have everybody's favorite American-born Canadian mammal, Moose. He is at Svhenn everywhere.
Yeah.
Svhenn, not proper Svhenn like in Sweden.
No. I can spell it different. Y'all can blame World of Warcraft for that.
Yes. Yeah. Video games are the source of all our problems.
Video games are cool.
And they're good. So yeah, we are doing our Game of the Year categories. And I'm just going to go right into it. Our first category is the most disappointing game of 2018. Now, some people argue for, coming up with a definitive list. What we do here is we just sort of talk about our big ones, and if we have honorable mentions in each category, we mention them. We try not to go too deep in honorable mentions, but most disappointing game of 2018. We're going to start with the man in command, Corey.
Well, I only have one game on this list.
That's fine.
It's Madden. It's Madden.
Ooh.
It's
Okay.
Madden. The
Okay,
online sucks. The online sucks. It's just,
All right.
it's just terrible.
That's fair.
Yeah. I really don't have anything else to say about most disappointing. I'm very disappointed.
So, and this is like Xbox version. Do you have a Switch version?
There's no Switch.
There's no Switch version. Okay, never mind. It's the Xbox version. My bad. I just wanted to see which console it was for the kiddies out there to listen.
I got the Xbox version because I thought, Xbox Live would be a better connection, but it turns out
it's all trash.
It's peer to peer, and yeah, playing someone with
peer and shit from rear to rear, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that 12th Ghost player that intercepted the ball and ran it back for a touchdown because there's no one to tackle, so my players would just run through the ball.
Red Grange was the galloping ghost. Was it him?
Yeah, sure.
It was Red Grange.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna just assume that.
Just agree with it. Just agree with it.
Yep.
Old sports names with Matthew Keel.
Also, it goes both ways because I can tell you that I've made some pretty sweet interceptions where my players might as well just had wings. They jump so high.
Yeah.
So
I could imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, Madden. I will not be purchasing next year unless there's a Switch version that I can play a franchise mode on my couch while I'm watching TV. It's the only way.
Telling you, EA, if you're out there and you're listening, just fucking give Corey and I 2004.
Yeah, give me Madden 2004 remastered.
Switches. Yes.
Madden 2004 remastered, PS2 classic.
Wow. Captain Canada is in the chat. He said, "Let's be honest. In 2018, XBL is in no way superior to PSN in terms of connection."
Probably. He's right.
He's done more research into the subject.
Yes, he's done more research than anybody. so I have got to agree with him.
At least Xbox doesn't delete the games I bought when I change my name.
That's true. Yeah.
Ooh, that's true. It's true. He's got a point.
Well, I forgot something at the top of the show because I normally don't get to do this while we record because I'm usually going to work right after. I get to have a beer tonight.
Yeah, Matt's unemployed now. So.
Cheers, sir.
We're recording on a Sunday. This is from Tired Hands. It's called The Eviscerated Pathway of Beauty. That's a very Dark Souls-ass can art. It is very nice. Moose, your disappointing game of 2018.
I'm just going to cut that out. It says, Moose, you're disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. That's what my wife said.
You're disappointing. That's why.
Hello.
You're just like me.
That's why I've been sleeping on the couch for 3 weeks.
God damn. Cutting deep, man. Cutting deep. My disappointing game for 2018, I'm going to be honest, is not a game from 2018. It is a game that was put out for 2018 and a lot of people were hyped for and were expecting.
Kingdom Hearts.
My most disappointing game for 2018 is Dark Souls Remastered.
Ooh.
It is my most disappointing game because I love Bloodborne. We all know how much I love Bloodborne. We all know. Even the people that listen to Nerds Gone Platinum know how much I love Bloodborne.
You love Bloodborne? I've never heard you talk about it.
I love
You should probably start talking about that game more on the show.
Love Dark Souls 3.
You should probably do a Let's Play series about that game you love so much.
Oh, I already am. Ha. Step ahead of you, Corey.
Are you?
Yes,
I think I'm the one that just brought it up. And I think I'm the one that just made the thumbnail for it today.
I think it's in episode 7 or 8. It's probably 8 right now. Anyways, I was so pumped for Dark Souls Remastered.
It's called The Misadventures with Moose, by the way.
Yes, it is. Misadventures with Moose. Lots of good stuff.
Not even part of that channel. You got to plug your stuff.
Well, I'm trying to have a conversation about my disappointing game. All right, man?
That was you could have just plugged it.
Anyways, I was so pumped for Dark Souls, and then just I don't know what it was. I just did not have. Listen, listeners and viewers.
I know
shut your pie hole Okay, no one's talking to you.
Oh boy.
All right, listeners and viewers, I want you to understand that I'm not saying the game is crap. Don't in no way, shape, or form did I have a bad time with the game. I just did not have as good of a time as I thought I would, and I think obviously that was my fault. So, in all honesty, the disappointment it falls on me, not the game. But it is still my most disappointing game of this year.
So does that make you the most disappointing game of 2018?
Yes. My honorable mentions are Chasm.
Okay.
Because I expected more out of that game than I got. And then Code Vein, because Code Vein got pushed to next year. So that's what I'm disappointed about. Not about the game, just the fact that it got pushed. So anyways. Yeah,
I had a weird feeling about you guys all jumping in on Dark Souls. I'm like, this could go either they could see all of the things that spawned the series that has spawned Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 or it would just be, man, this is a clunky ass thing from 7 years ago that for some reason Matt loves. What the hell is his problem?
Well, in your defense, Jason loves the game. Like, he had a blast playing the game. And I'm not saying I didn't have a blast playing the game. I would like to say that Captain Canna is in the chat saying that
worst
the worst
port of
2018 is me.
Yes.
Is me. So there we go.
That should be Nerd Gone Platinum.
I need that on a t-shirt.
That should be your Game of the Year episode's thumbnail, where it's just you in a platinum trophy that says worst port of 2018. Okay, so for me, my most disappointing game is Far Cry 5. I think the moment to moment stuff in Far Cry 5 is hilarious and fun and. Are you listening to music, Moose?
Yes. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm like entranced by you just banging your head all of a sudden. So the moment to moment stuff in Far Cry 5 is really fun. The randomness that happens is a really good time. The story's a fucking bummer. Also on the list were Wizard of Legend and Chasm. I don't think Chasm is a bad game. I just think it wasn't. There was a lot about it that wasn't what I wanted. I will still continue to play it. Far Cry 5, I just won't anymore. But Wizard of Legend, I wanted more. Roguelikes need to be a little more than just randomly generated dungeons. So now we move to Best Old Game. Now, Best Old Game is the game that is a game that came out prior to 2018 that you had not played, or if it's just something that took a hold of you in a very special way in 2018. So I'm going to open this with Moose. You can turn the music off for a little bit.
Yes, I have my answer. I
Go
can
ahead.
hear you.
I know.
Best old game. My best old game is Gravity Rush 2.
Okay.
So here's my thing for the listeners out there. This category is also what I would like to consider the game of 2017 that I should have played in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, like I played this year that I should have played last year, and that goes to Gravity Rush 2. Enjoyed the game thoroughly. It was part of my challenge games. I played the first one and the second one. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. Second one is beautiful, even more polished than the first one. It's a great game. It's sad that that's probably all we're going to hear from the series, but that is my game. Do you want my honorable mentions?
Sure.
Number one is Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's my honorable mention. And then the other one is Shadow Warrior. Had a lot of fun with Shadow Warrior. To be honest, I look forward to playing Shadow Warrior 2, which I'm probably going to try and sneak in next year sometime and play that because I own it. because it was it's been on sale like multiple times, and I picked it up and nabbed it. But anyways, that's my best game of old.
Corey,
best game of old.
2018's ye old game.
Ye old games.
Well, I think we all know this year I played a ton of Tetris,
which
is still the best game. It's going to be the best old game every year from here on out until I die. So, but I did play. I've been playing a lot of games on Switch the last couple weeks just because of the baby and stuff. But like Wolfenstein 2, I've been playing. Game is real good.
It is.
South Park: The Fractured But Whole is also real good. Not as good as The Stick of Truth. I'm just gonna say that. I miss the turn-based RPG battle stuff. And I don't really care for the grid-based stuff. But and Captain Toad making the move to Switch is a good idea.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what though. I'm looking at my Wii U library today and my Switch library because they're in the same shelving unit. Those libraries look awfully similar.
They need to be more similar as far as I'm concerned, though.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've bought a lot of the same game twice. They got me again, guys. Nintendo got me. It sucked me in.
But also, those games were real nice.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like, look at the Wii U ports that came out this year, like specifically the Bayonettas, the
Donkey Kong,
and the Captain Toad. Yeah, I mean, like if they kept that clip of Wii U ports, like that should be stuff that Nintendo Switch owners have, because most Nintendo Switch owners did not buy Wii U.
That's also very true.
So I feel like they're doing enough to those games.
Yeah.
To warrant it. But I really
enjoy your pen drum beat over there, Moose.
So Tetris is your best old game?
Tetris is my best old game. But I've really taken a liking to Wolfenstein 2.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Wolfenstein 2 it's got some moments in it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, it does. So I don't know if I told the story on here on Power Block or both, but I was going down when I was doing some research for Power Block. I was looking at some Wolfenstein. I was like, "There's no way this game looks this good on Switch, like the cutscenes."
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at on Reddit. They were talking about how, like, when Panic Button went to go port the cutscenes, they literally just kind of like, in simple terms, recorded the Xbox One and PS4 cutscenes and then just put them in the game as video files instead of running an engine.
Yeah.
And then just compress the crap out of them.
That's smart. I mean, why not?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's why these cutscenes look so good on this tiny screen.
Yeah.
Because they're compressed 4K videos down to 720p. In the textures.
All them K's into just a few P's.
All them textures. Mm. That guy with the dent in his head. He's a character.
Agent Dent?
No.
No.
No, he's like his arc through the story, like where you see him just start expressing himself like through art and everything, like it's really good. That game is way better than the game's way better than it fucking should be.
Yeah. I felt that way about a lot of games this year. Not a lot, but more than I feel like I should have.
Yeah, and then anything else you want to talk about old game wise?
No, just I'm glad I started playing Wolfenstein 2. So
yeah,
it's kind of all. Tetris was really kind of my joke one because I play Tetris all the time. But
you do. I
still need to get Tetris Effect.
My best old game. I don't have one. I have a list of 10. And I'm not going to talk about him. I'm just going to list
for fuck's sake.
I'm just going to list them. Calm your tits, Moose. Jesus Christ. Go back to your music, for fuck's sake. So here they are. Burnout Paradise, Hollow Knight, Dark Souls, Luminous, Captain Toad, Dark Souls 2, Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and Castlevania Rondo of Blood.
Wait.
Done. My category's done.
You said best old games?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. What, you got a problem?
Yeah, I got a problem with Hollow Knight being put on that because that came out on Switch. Yes, it's been on Steam.
Yeah, it's official release date was last year, so I couldn't include it this year. I'm not going to say you can't because I'm not that prick. I'm not that prick. I'm not holding you to my standards. I'm just holding myself to my standards. Next category is best combat.
Both, Captain Canada. Both.
What did he say?
It says, I don't know what best old game is. Is it an old game that you only played for the first time this year? Or is it an old game that you played this year? I say...
I'm not going to keep repeating myself for you monkeys.
God damn. Hot fucking damn. He's coming with the fire.
Best old game is best game that didn't come out in 2018 that you played in 2018. It could be for the first time or it could be for another time. It just took hold of you in a special way in 2018. I said that before. I shouldn't have to say it again.
So both?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right. Best combat, gentlemen. Who wants to go first? Fight for it.
What is this racist monkey? Captain Canada is racist. He hates Americans. Anyways,
I mean, fair.
I'll go first.
To be fair, he's not American.
He's not American. He's Canadian. So. That's why I'm saying he's racist and hates Americans.
Stay on your side of the border, son.
He's putting up that wall.
Yeah.
Best combat. I'm gonna go with Spider-Man #1. Oh. Honorable mentions. God of War is #2, and #3 is Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Okay. Black Ops 3?
3.
Or 4. 4.
All right. Solid choices. Solid choices.
You can't see me. You can't see me.
But the fact that your first two are exactly my first two, Spider-Man and God of War.
Wow. Captain Canada's best old game of 2018 was also his favorite game of all time, Jagged Alliance 2. I have no idea what that is.
Me either.
It makes me want to research
one of them Canadian games.
It's on Canadian PCs only.
It's on Maple Leaf Entertainment System.
It's not on a PC.
It looks like a Tim Hortons tray.
Oh.
And the only way you can play is with coffee.
It's not a PC. Good. It's a PCA.
PCA.
The only A button. The only button on the controller.
My other honorable mention in combat is Fire Pro Wrestling World.
What was your best combat?
Spider-Man.
He said it was Spider-Man.
Okay.
And then my second best was God of War. Corey, combat for you.
Well, I have like 6 things on this list, but I'm only gonna name a couple. Dead Cells for me.
Okay.
Is the best combat. I just think the melee combat's good, like the dodge and getting a clean dodge and then hitting someone in that game is just feels so good.
Such a good time.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey has a great combat. I mean, I know it's just pulled straight from Origins, but it still doesn't mean it's not good combat. It feels good. I just need to get back into that game. And then the Chains of Chaos in God of War, when you first get those and you start just that, when it really starts turning into a God of War game, man, feels good. Feels cool. Real good. And then the last one I have on here is just Shadow of the Tomb Raider's bow and melee combat still feels really good. I wish there was more combat in that game. Just because a lot of the trophies and achievements revolve around the combat, and there's not very much combat in that game at all. So
it's an achievement finding that much combat then.
Yeah. So okay. I also like really hanging people from trees and stabbing them 7 times before I jump off of them.
Fair. Yeah.
Feels good.
So, I mean, you could take out some aggression that way.
Yeah, you can. It feels really good. You shoot the rope arrow down and you rappel down the one side while they get pulled up and you hang on them and you just very violent. Very violent.
Okay, so the next category kind of ties in with combat in a lot of ways, I guess, but it is called best controls.
Yeah, I'm going to start this time. It's my
okay.
turn. It's my turn to start. Best
Your
controls.
time to shine, Corey.
Dead Cells again.
Yeah.
In this category for me. The same reason as best combat is because like when you get a good dodge or you just do all the right moves to get through an area, it just feels really good. Man, need some water. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 controls. Call of Duty's always felt good. It's just it's one of those situations where like it just feels samey because there's nothing you really need to change. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Word. But
it still feels really good. Let's see, where am I here? Destiny 2 Forsaken's controls. Same as Call of Duty. It's not broke, don't fix it. It's still fun to play, even though it's been kind of disappointing.
Even though it's Destiny 2.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man swinging controls feel real good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that's sense of speed when you get real high and you just kind of like nosedive all the way down to the street and then you hit the swing button at the last second. Feels real good. I also have God of War on this list, but I don't really need to say anything about that. So,
I have a feeling God of War is going to be talked about quite a bit tonight.
No, that's it for me.
Best controls for me. Number one is Celeste. I liked.
There's some tight controls right there.
It's very tight controls. I also like the fact that it's slow and methodical, rather than being like a Meat Boy where you have to go super fast and be, pinpoint timing for your landing. The endurance mechanic for climbing is a nice added dimension to a 2D platformer. Second is Spider-Man for basically what Corey mentioned. That is so many different types of games in one. Like it's like a Tony Hawk game at times. It's like a Ratchet and Clank game at times. And the way that you actually prefer swinging through the city as opposed to fast travel, that says something. Clearly it's an indicator of how much fun it is to just get from one place to another. Also, like the different challenges they put in front of you for like either the research stations or the towers or the side missions, any of that, it's all a blast. So Web Blossom is a bit OP. I'll take it because it gets me back to that traversal faster. Other than that, Yoku's Island Express is another one I'd mention just because it's a Metroidvania with pinball mechanics.
It's a solid game. I downloaded the demo on the eShop. It feels really good to play.
As stupid as it sounds, that game is fun.
That game is 1,000 times better than it ought to be.
Yeah. Based on that description, Metroidvania pinball, you're just like, man, that fucking sucks. Nope. It does.
I know. My first thought, like you and Ed have both talked about it a lot this year. And when the first thing I thought of was like, it's the Sonic Spinball for Sega Genesis.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm like,
you're like, is it that? I don't want it if it's that.
I don't need that in my life. But Yoku's Island Express, somebody should play it, and it's $9 on the eShop right now. So
yeah,
just throwing that out there.
It's like I have it on PS4. It is a way better Switch game.
Yeah. So.
Moose, controls for you.
Best controls, number one, Spider-Man. Honorable mentions, God of War, and Dead Cells.
Cool.
Spider-Man just felt really good swinging around the city of New York. Also, the combat felt fluid if you understood it. Dodging, getting your, weak attack, strong attack, jump, all that stuff, swing. Like they did a good job of building on your abilities, which allowed you to build on the controls. And the controls, I feel, kept the pace. You know, like sometimes you'll play a game and you'll get new moves and you're like, oh, like the controls like can't keep up with it. I felt like they were like right with each other. Every time you learned a new move and try to work it in your repertoire, I feel like the controls stayed with you. And if I screwed up, it was me, not the controls. So I think Spider-Man did a great job. So
okay,
those are my 3.
Next category, gentlemen, best DLC. Now, if you guys are like me, didn't seem like I was playing a lot of DLC this year.
I know. I had only played, unless you I wouldn't even count this as DLC, but I think the only DLC I really played was Forsaken for Destiny. Like, you know, and then I bought the Mario Rabbids Donkey Kong stuff, but I haven't even played it yet because I haven't gotten through the whole game yet. Yeah. So, I mean.
I forgot that came out this year. I haven't played it either.
I'm going to start this off.
Go ahead.
With I have nothing in any, no pick, no honorable mentions, because I played no DLCs from this
Way to
year.
interrupt our great conversation to tell us you had nothing to say.
That's some of that moose shit. So
Matt, I want to say, by the way, your sweater is on point today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I love your sweater. And my wife even complimented it. She's like, at first I thought it was Batman. Then she was like, oh, it's Wu-Tang. I'm like, yeah, it is. She's like, cool.
Let me paint a picture for you. We were at a Hanukkah gathering before the show tonight, and I had plenty of people coming up. So what's your shirt? I'm like, how do I broach this up? I'm like, okay, it's the Wu-Tang Clan. And Reba's cousin, she's there. Yeah, he's a Klansman. I'm like, I respect you for doing that. Thank you so much. And they're like, so what's the Wu-Tang Clan? I go, I could give them the long definition or the short definition. I'm gonna lean in. I'll give them the long definition. It's a hip hop group that based their entire motif around 70s kung fu films, particularly when the Shaolin met the Wu-Tang. Yeah, and so I got a lot of blank stares, but the younger people there, they're like, Wu-Tang, like it.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you for the compliments. Thank you, Sana. Phillips in the chat, he complimented me as well too. For me, the best DLC.
Part of the Mountie clan.
For the Mountie, Jesus. For me, the best DLC is the Color of Madness for Darkest Dungeon. I played a lot of this game this year. It's quietly been one of the most repeat experiences I've played, and this doesn't really change much in the game, but I became very fascinated with cosmic horror in a way that I had not been prior. And you know, I read Lovecraft for the first time, and wow, that motherfucker had some bad shit to say and was an awful human being, but he knew how to write good fiction. Secondly, I would say the heist for Spider-Man is a good bit of DLC, and I wanted a third, so I basically lumped one in. For Hitman 2, you can download all of the original Hitman and its updated mechanics, so I figured that was enough for me. So, and I love Hitman 2. So, Corey.
Yeah.
Your DLC, sir.
Didn't I start it?
I'm just making sure.
I mean, the only DLC.
You were interrupted with your nothing for
That's
Moose's
true.
nothing.
That's right. Moose interrupted my nothing with his nothing. The best DLC I played was the only DLC I played this year, which was Destiny 2 Forsaken. I mean, I played the campaign and unlocked the Dreaming City, and I was like, I'm back to just doing the same rotation. I don't have time for this.
Yep.
So I play like once a week, and I'm like, I think I'm good. You know, unless my cousin texts me to play, or you know, I've been trying to play all these other games for Game of the Year stuff. I'm like, I don't have time to play Destiny right now.
Ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Plus, I heard that like Black Armory was pretty disappointing so far. So,
So let's just meander to the next category: best boss fight.
Ooh, Ooh, that first time you fight the stranger.
Fuck your couch!
In God of War.
That was my number one. Yes!
That's a pretty cool boss fight.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of
Balder's a good time.
Yeah. A lot of the
spoilers.
The boss fights in God of War are pretty good. You know, I went back and started playing that game again for Game of the Year stuff, and I'm just like, I forgot how good this game was, just because like I started playing it, then I had a baby, then I finished it, and I didn't get that like everybody had already talked about it, played it, whatever, and I just was like, this is something I just got to finish, and now that I can just like play it again with New Game Plus with the chains, I'm like, man, this game's really good. Combat's really good. It's really good.
It really is.
And that boss fight, when you like throw him through the cliff and you just see this cliff just breaking and you're fighting down through it is awesome.
Yeah. It was an awesome boss fight.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions? You got any?
Yeah. Well, I've been playing some Darksiders 3.
Okay.
And, right now that game it's not a great game. It's one of those games that's like, you know how we had that question last week about, you know, games that aren't good but we like them anyway.
Yeah.
Darksiders is that serious for me, and Darksiders 3 is that game for me right now. And it's just like, it's not great. It feels like a small team tried to take on a AAA project, which it is. But man, fighting the 7 deadly sins is a good time. It's a good time. So,
nice.
So that the fighting the sins has been kind of like it's where the game really feels like it's trying to be a Souls-like game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll talk about it more on another episode, but like that game really feels like it has an identity crisis where like it wants to be Bayonetta and Dark Souls at the same time, and it never quite knows when to turn off one and turn on the other, you know? So, but I'll talk about that on another show. But those boss fights are pretty cool.
Okay. Moose?
My number one is The Stranger as well. That boss fight.
Are you talking about the first one?
The first one. First time. So I call him a stranger because # spoilers, and that's what you know him as when you fight him. So that's all he is to you.
That's what he's known as during that fight is the stranger.
Yeah, is the stranger. So that is why I picked that, because that first boss fight is freaking awesome, because you go from like heartfelt, like, you know, like a story time with Kratos and his son, and then all of a sudden this dude just comes knocking on the door, and it's just full blown action into a fight, and then you do the fight, and it's like, we got to kick off this, you kick off the storyline of the game, so that's my number one, The Stranger. My honorable mention number one is Doc Ock and Spider-Man, # spoilers. That was an awesome fight. I enjoyed it. I feel, but in my
I didn't know he was in the game, Moose. Thanks for spoiling it for me.
Tough shit.
Just kidding.
I feel it. I enjoyed the fight more so for the character dynamic, more so than the actual combat of the fight. Like what was going on with the struggle of like Peter trying to, like relate and react to his mentor behaving the way that he was. So that's why I put that on there. And then my other honorable mention is the Hornet fight in Hollow Knight. I thoroughly enjoyed that fight. That was a good fight.
Good fight. It really is.
It's a good fight. So those were mine.
And they only get better over time.
I can't wait. I can't wait to play more.
So my best boss fight. I mean, it was really hard not to just say the ensemble of boss fights you have in God of War.
Yeah,
because there are. I mean, both Baldur fights are really good. The two sidekicks of Baldur's that you fight are really that double fight is a good one.
Troy Baker and Nolan North.
Yeah,
What was it? It's weren't those what Thor's sons?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the uncle. That's right. Okay.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Then each of the Valkyries, each of the 8 Valkyries, in their own right, are great boss fights, and each of them is different. Despite their similarities, each one is a different fight, and all of them require you to be on your shit. You don't like this. The Valkyrie fights, especially, there's no exhale until one of you is dead. Mm-hmm. Like it is just tension. And because of that alone, I chose the one that is all of those in one, and I chose the Valkyrie Queen. The Valkyrie Queen is completely optional, and she's the one that took me the most attempts to beat, and she took me the most attempts to beat because I kept changing my way to fight her, and she would adapt each time. And then basically I figured out what I had to do to beat her is I started one way, changed, and then she adapted to both of those, and then I changed a third time in the same fight, and she couldn't catch up. So I was able to put her in the ground. And each of those fights are amazing, but the Valkyrie Queen is something truly special in God of War. My honorable mentions are the Timekeeper from Dead Cells, and I really like the Shocker fight from Spider-Man more than the others. Like, I think that they do some really cool things in requiring some dexterity from the player, but I feel like the Shocker is a fight where you get a good back and forth between Spider-Man and the Shocker, and trying to figure out who's who and what's what and why this is happening. That's my thoughts on boss fights. There were plenty of good boss fights this year. There were plenty of them. But now we move to a favorite of mine, mainly because I stole this category from Giant Bomb. Best style. Either you want to, I'll go first this time. Number 1 with a bullet, Tetris Effect. Without a shadow of a doubt. If you don't like the style in that game, I can't do anything for you. Runners up are Astrobot, Rescue Mission, and Lightfall. Astrobot is the cutest thing Sony has put out since Little Big Planet. That little robot is fucking adorable. The little dances he does, and it's kind of like walking him around the world in VR. It's kind of like when you're training a puppy, because you'll get him moving around and he'll just look back at you, make sure he's doing the right thing, make sure you guys are both happy with what's happening. And then just the game as a whole is like, it's something it's required. You have to have VR to play it. You can't play it without VR. But the cool thing is, like, you guys are both in the world together in a very interesting way. Like, there's this construction level where you have to get the Astrobot like up a certain way, and you can stand up and you move within the world, so you can like see at a higher vantage point. Like, that game is something goddamn special for VR, and it's one of the 2 or 3 essential things to play, and the style that they chose to do that is really good in. And then my other style one is Lightfall.
Lightfall is a beautiful game,
because Lightfall is a fucking good looking game. It really is. And it's not just that it's like graphics are great, but like everything sort of comes together as a package in a real nice way, in a real stylish way.
I really like the silhouette look it has.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the background's all super colorful, and then the foreground is all dark. You know,
yeah.
So yeah, that game is on my list too. It's not number 1, but it's definitely on my list. So,
well, Corey, what's your list?
Well, Octopath Traveler, I think, is the best style that I've played this year. You know,
if I had a fourth, it would be Octopath.
Yeah, Octopath is great. I love the kind of pop-up book look it has to it, mixed with the pixelated art style. I just, from the moment it was announced, it's just been one of those games everybody wants to look at. So, Octopath is on my list. Lightfall is second on my list for reasons I just said, and then I think Darksiders 3's character design has a real style to it, especially Fury. Which is the main protagonist, and when you take on your other forms, the way she transforms, like there's this form where she goes from just having that pinkish purplish hair to like she snaps her fingers and her whole like look changes and her hair turns into fire. It just like it's crazy. It's a good look. I think that what that game does well is like some of the environments look pretty. I don't want to say generic. That's probably the wrong word, but like when it steps out of that kind of realistic tone is when that game shines the most. And I really like those areas where you're not playing in like a busted down city that looks like it blew up. I like when you go down into like the fire caves, or when you go into the areas where you fight the seven deadly sins, or when you're talking to the charred console. Like that game really has a style to it that I hope if we get a Darksiders 4, they really lean hard into that. So, but yeah, Darksiders 3 is on my list. That's it.
Moose?
Number one on my list is Hollow Knight. The art style of that game is just.
But Moose, that game came out last year. Why is it on your list?
Don't do this, Corey.
You can do that all you want, and you can kiss my ass.
There you go, Moose.
You just did it to Matt.
You did. Console. When did I just do it, Dan?
During Best Old Game.
Best Old Games won whatever. Anyways, so Hollow Knight.
That's all right when I do it. I mean, Moose, you're welcome.
I do what I want.
I say it's old when it's old.
Anyways, so Hollow Knight has the best style. Kiss my ass. That's it. Runners up are Octopath Traveler and Spider-Man.
I also want to give a shout out to Sea of Thieves. I know that game was kind of empty at launch, but that game is very pretty, and I really like the art style, the approach they took to that art style.
Okay,
I think it does have a style to it that sticks out, and I really hope that game starts to see some content. I mean, they've had 3 expansions already, but I'm just saying, like,
it's becoming more of a game that's worthy of $60.
Yeah, or $10 a month if you pay for Game Pass.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
So next category, best level.
Ooh, man. I mean, everything on my list is God of War. So I mean, my number one is when you get to the house in the woods when you first meet Freya. Yeah,
that's a pretty.
Yeah, that was jaw dropping. I mean, that was like, yeah. I mean, like that game looks great, anyways. But like, man, that is that level is just, oh man. Or like the first time you go into a different realm.
Yeah,
that's also very, very breathtaking. So,
like I almost thought about getting in touch with you guys a couple of days ago and adding best world, because I feel like God of War and Spider-Man are pretty special in that sense. I mean, and like since Moose is definitely moving forward Hollow Knight, which is okay, I feel like that would be in there too. It's
hard to pick something like best level because like,
so many games don't do that.
I mean, a ton of games I played this year were open world or semi-open world to the point where it's just like it's all one world pretty much, like Shadow of the Tomb Raiders, open hubs, I guess you could say, but it's all takes place in one area. Spider-Man, God of War, Assassin's Creed, all these games just kind of take place in like one area,
Yeah,
and like
it
it
was
was really hard to like pick.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, like for God of War, like I thought the Muspelheim and Niflheim areas were pretty cool. The Alfheim, the one where it's like sunny and watery, not the snow covered place,
right.
but like I thought, just like as for a sprawling place, like that was just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the roguelike aspect of Niflheim is something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something to behold.
Yeah,
Valkyrie fight there is pretty tough too. But yeah, what else did you have in the level category? Anything?
That's all. Because like I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff in Lightfall was cool, but I don't really know. Like, I don't really remember what the levels were called.
Well, it didn't seem like the levels really ended. You just went to another place.
Yeah, yeah, it's just
what a whole entire world could be a level.
Mm-hmm.
It takes place like that.
It can be, but at the same time, I feel like that's where like best world would come in rather than best level. That's why I thought about adding, but I didn't.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I thought the Hidden City and Shadow of the Tomb Raider was pretty cool. There's a lot of nooks and crannies you can find that, you know, have hidden tombs and a bunch of secrets and stuff that you can find. And plus, like the level of detail taken to like show you the culture and stuff that they put a thing at the front of the game that says, you know, we took a lot of time to research the people of this area and whatever. So they really tried to like do it justice. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. Moose?
My best level, and y'all can kiss my ass, is all of New York City and Spider-Man.
That's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that.
Here's the thing. You play that game, and it's all in that world. There's no, like, I've got to move to a separate section.
Unless for those rare things you have to go inside.
Yeah, but it loads, but it's kind of like in the same world. So anyways, my favorite level, best level, was Spider-Man, all of New York City. Honorable mention, God of War, the Sea Serpent area. I couldn't remember what was that called. Yeah, like the lake was awesome, and especially with the fact that like it like kind of like as you started lowering the level of the water, like new areas would open up and stuff like that. So there was like some puzzle solving there. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Plus, I don't know, just row on the boat and listening to Kratos talk to Boy, and then also just checking out the freaking Mimir chatting, and then also like looking at the sea serpent just fucking chilling. Like it's just a big giant snake just hanging out like, hey, yo, guys.
You're looking at that sea serpent and it's looking at you too. So you're just like,
yeah,
I feel like we're going to have to talk at some point, but I'm not looking forward to it.
My last honorable mention, shout out to Dead Cells, the Ramparts. I like the Ramparts. Pretty much any level in Dead Cells.
Yeah, the Ramparts and the Clock Tower have real good sunsets.
But I like the Ramparts. I just want to throw it over to the chat for a second. Captain Ken is in there.
Don't say it. I'm getting to him. Don't worry. I got him.
All right. Then I just wanted to say the comment before my frowny face, which was best controls goes out to his Battlefield 5. So he's thoroughly enjoying the controls in Battlefield 5.
Loving that.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And I love Battlefield 5, and I am sad that I haven't bought it. But I went Black Ops this time. But anyways, so that's a tale for another time. Matt?
So for me, I'm gonna go backwards. My second runner up would be the final level of Tetris Effect. Yeah, it's just another Tetris level, but I feel like it encompasses everything that has led you to that point, both musically and playing the game, and it's probably the perfect denouement to a game like that. My first runner-up is not only Miami in Hitman 2, it is all of Hitman 2. From the tutorial level to like all of it. Like the suburban level's freaking great. The final level's great. Mumbai is great. And the way that it uses those mechanics, and each level sort of changes things. Just because you're like forced to look at it a different way. Like there are a lot of places that are very sparse and empty, so you have to adapt to that. And then when there's a lot of crowds, you have to make sure you're not being seen. Otherwise, shit goes south real fucking fast. Hitman's level design is damn near flawless. Not only because it's well constructed, but it also allows for human error in the best sort of ways. But my number one is it's a collective as well. It's the B-sides from Celeste. They remix those levels in really cool ways, and they are fun to play.
Nice.
That's best level. Let's go to biggest dork.
I got mine.
Now I'm going to start here. And I'm going to start here. Like I feel like biggest dork is sort of like a lovable category,
right? Yeah.
The character I'm going to mention is just a character I fucking hate and cannot stand. So I want to mention him here, but distance him from the lovability section of this category. John Marston in Red Dead 2. Fuck him.
Oh yeah, he's an ass.
He is a piece of shit. Like, man, this guy's got some work to do to be really good.
Okay, fucking spoilers. Okay, spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Redemption. Get the fuck out of here if you don't want spoilers. But
dude, it's game of the year. We're going to talk about games.
What the hell was he doing on that mountainside? Like, what was he doing?
Yeah.
What was he out there? What was he trying to gain to the gang? Like, what was he doing? I would have just been like, fuck your couch, bitch. I ain't going to look for your man who's too stupid to not go wandering off somewhere. I'd be like, I'm going to leave him for dead. Yeah. You know, to be honest, if it was me,
his son out fishing, he's like, "What were you doing?" Oh, I don't know, being a father to your son.
Yeah, I would have actually picked him up and throw him off the side of the mountain, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. He's a damn idiot.
I'm not saying that if I had kids, I'd be father a year, but I'd like to think I'd be better than that guy. But yeah, really,
seriously,
with the reality of this category. My number one dork is Spider Cop.
Yes.
Without a fucking argument. Spider Cop is amazing and annoying all in the same breath, and all for the reasons that if you haven't played Spider-Man and you eventually do, you'll get. Spider Cop is the biggest dork, and I love him for it. Secondly, it's Mr. B from Adventure Pals, and thirdly, it is BK from Donut County. Those three are very lovable. Fuck John Marston. All I gotta say. Moose, Corey, whoever wants to go.
I'll go.
Right.
The biggest dork for 2018 is Shaq from Shaq Fu, a Legend Reborn. Mostly because it's just a bad game and it's just bad. Should have just stayed.
I mean, are you sure he's the big dork, or are you the big dork for playing it? Oh,
hey, I got it for free, so
okay. No, never mind then. Free game's free game.
Statement retract.
Yep. Sorry.
Retracted. Statement is gone.
Anybody who bought that NBA Playgrounds game on Switch got Shaq Fu for free. So because that port of the game was really bad. So yeah. So Shaq is it's just bad, dude.
There's
writing's bad.
Commentary there that I am not prepared to deal with.
Yep. So and then my honorable mention are the two weapon guys in God of War.
Aren't they great though?
Oh yeah,
but they're still big dorks.
Oh, but they're so good.
Yeah, they're dorks. Yeah, they're good.
Oh, I love them.
So, by the way, that was my lovable one. The Shaq one is my total hatred.
Okay, so right.
even though I love Shaq in real life.
Oh yeah,
Shaq Fu Shaq is awful.
No, yeah, Shaq in real life's cool. He's cool. Yeah. I like him.
I'd hang out with Shaq.
Yeah.
Moose, biggest dork for you, sir.
My biggest dork was Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and we could also roll into the Spider
Cop.
But I just thought, like, you're just like, oh man, he's such a nerd, he's such a dork, like whatever, but in a lovable way. So it was great, like great character, loved it, awesome. Honorable mention, Doc Ock is a dork. Like he is a dork in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
So that was awesome too. Like just seeing him with his, like geeking out over certain things and like stuff that Peter Parker fixes or figures out. So that was cool. And then my last honorable mention.
When he starts to really go off the deep end, he just becomes like, man, this guy's a real fucking nerd.
Yeah. And then my final honorable mention is gotta be Kratos. Kratos is a damn dork when he's telling Atreus the stories while they're on the boat in the Lake of the Nine. Like he's just like telling like these dad jokes or like these and really stupid. And Mimir is just like,
well, that's a way to tell it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was great. Like Kratos just like breaks it down. So it's pretty funny, but it's pretty good.
Because
exactly. It's good.
Well, thank you so much for the ad, Kratos. Anyway, this is the story of any out and out hatred?
No. I really didn't have any hatred for any dorkish characters.
Okay.
Like I thought.
So we mentioned like 9 good ones, and then but fuck John Marston and fuck Shaq and Shaq Fu.
Yeah.
Although there is an expansion to Shaq Fu.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ!
Called Barack Fu. It's like
with Barack Obama.
Yeah, you play as Barack Obama, and he's like a detective.
Oh God!
But it's only available if you buy the physical version of the game.
Fuck that then.
I'm like, dude. $20 is too much for this game. You really expect somebody to pay $40 for this game?
Really. Okay, so let's move from dorks to actual best new characters.
Best.
Okay, Moose, you go first.
Best new character number 1. Kiss my ass, Corey. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is an awesome character. Good story. Honorable mention.
Biggest dork.
You know who the biggest dork should have been? That dude that you save. I don't remember what his name is, but he starts trying to move in on your woman and talk about all these exploits that are fucking lies.
What are we talking? Wait, what game?
What are you talking about?
In Hollow Knight, there's a guy that you wander by and he's in the middle of a fight and you save him.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember his name.
I don't know who he is either, but yeah, he's not cool.
But yeah, he's a fucking dork.
So my second runner-up was Atreus from God of War.
Okay.
I didn't put Kratos because he's not new, but his son
is new. Yeah.
His son is new, obviously, to the series because his family prior. Spoiler alert for the previous games in the series was killed. So this is what he's got.
He's wearing them.
So yeah. What I have to say about this is there was a lot. I think if we did a category with most character growth, I'd have to go with Atreus because, obviously he's a kid. But there's a point in time when you're playing the game where you're just like, this kid is a motherfucking dick. Like, yeah. I just want to punch him in the face and knock him out cold. But Kratos has the patience. He has the patience to be like, he needs to learn this way and just lets him learn it, and they come to an understanding, and his son comes to a realization, and he has like this character growth. So I feel like because of that, it puts him on the list. Also, the fact that I feel he is, and I'm gonna say it, y'all can kiss my ass, but he's 10 times better than Ellie in The Last of Us. As a follow-along NPC, he is 1,000 times better than she is. I'm gonna give it to her. I'm gonna give it to him because of the AI. If she was built in PS4 generation AI, she would probably be a lot better than what she was. So I'm guessing she'll be main character in Last of Us 2. But anyways, he is one of the best follow companions because he actually does something in a fight.
Yeah.
So I feel that he gets that. Anyways, so he's honorable mention number 1. Honorable mention number 2 is Vrail from Death's Gambit, which is the character that just trash talks you.
Yeah, all day.
All day long. So I like him.
Doesn't have a nice thing to say about you. He's like, oh,
no, he doesn't. And I feel he has a place to stand. But I feel he has a certain outlook on life, as in like what you are is unredeemable, and you have no redemption in his eyes. But I feel like he is so tainted, and his view on life is so like corrupted, that he doesn't have the ability to see redemption in your character. And I feel like he has some character development later on. Yeah. That'll redeem him. So that's my stance. Those are my 3.
Okay.
Nice. Nice, I say. Man, on my best new character list, I almost put Kratos just because he's like
almost new,
you know. Yeah. But I'm like, he's technically not a new character. But I did put Mimir on there.
Ooh,
because he is a very cool character, even though he's just
that game has an ensemble of really well designed characters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, like Mimir, Freya, the weapon guys,
the dwarves.
I mean, even Boulder,
Boulder, his 2 sidekicks,
that whole game has a bunch of cool characters, you know. But Mimir, I pulled from God of War. Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think is a cool character. And then I really like Fury from Darksiders 3.
Okay.
I mean, she's technically not a new character, but this is the first time you see her and play as her. So,
was she in Darksiders 1 and 2?
She's named, but she's not seen.
Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah,
so, I know that she's one of the 4 horsemen they made up. So.
Yeah. So I mean, it's War, Death, Fury, and Strife. Okay. Strife. If they ever make a 4th game, Strife he looks like he kind of looks like a apocalyptic version of like that character from Mark of the Ninja.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got like this really cool, or like the guy from Borderlands 2, with the sword. What's his name? Zero. Yeah. So he looks really cool.
So they made up 2 of the 4 horsemen.
Yeah. Well, the famine and
it's War, Death, Famine, and Pestilence.
Yeah, and like, what are you gonna have a mechanic where you starve people to death? I don't think so. So they replaced them with Fury and Strife.
Okay.
Nice.
Man,
that game's cool.
So for me, I was going to put the ensemble of God of War, but I decided not to. I put Mimir, mainly because the lore. He's the lore delivery system, and he's fucking flawless at it. Like, just the way he regales tales, like he was there, and it's not just him reading from a book. It's him, putting personality on him, as well as the shit that's going on with Atreus. Because, like Moose said, we watch Atreus go from frightened, timid child to I'm a god, so that's my right to be a prick.
I should probably not be a dick.
Yeah, so I mean, he's basically like, he aids in delivering that with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
To Atreus, and I think he and Kratos sort of team up really well to deliver that. But I feel like Mimir is the character crown jewel of God of War.
I would like to say, sorry to interrupt, but the brothers Brock and Sindri, those are their names.
Yeah, they're
I didn't know if we named
too,
them.
just because they are fucking brothers. Just the way they're arguing with each other. It's well done on so many levels. Freya's like complex, Baldur's complex. Their relationship is complex. There's for a series that was what it was to be that game now. It's mind blowing. But my second character is Madeline from Celeste. And then I had a third and a fourth, but I'll just lump them into one. Arthur Morgan from Red Dead and Lenny from Red Dead as well.
Nice.
I like Lenny a lot. So I believe that's all of us, correct? Best moment, gentlemen. I'm going to start here.
Okay, fine.
I'm going to start here. I
have a question before you start.
Okay, go ahead.
I think you skipped a category.
Which category?
Best score. It was before biggest.
We did.
I have it written after best story, so that's my bad.
No, then we'll go to it after then. That's
okay.
Fine. Yeah. Let's keep rolling.
I might, you know what? When I was writing this, I might have skipped it and realized I skipped it and wrote it later.
Yeah, I mean, in the notes that you sent us, it says here are the categories in order of presentation.
Yeah,
and
ladies and gentlemen, this is why Matt should not organize things.
I am human. So, best moment for me, I have a couple stories and then 2 actual moments from 2018. I have to say, co-oping Adventure Pals with my fiance Reba and getting her first platinum trophy is something. It was something truly special to behold. Not just because, like, you know, I wanted not like as if I had some devious, you know, means to get her into trophy hunting, because if I did, it didn't work. But it was fun to do that with her, because I haven't really had someone I've been with be into video games in a similar way that I was. So that was just something fun to do. And, you know, we were just talking about it earlier today. We thought about getting that again and playing it just because. Secondly, Friday on Spelunky Daily, I had a moment that I want to talk about. I shat the bed on the daily, as I usually do, and then I decided I was going to do speed runs for a little bit. Jason Marshall was in the chat, and he and I were just sort of bantering. And at one point, I had died a few times, but this next run, I got to 1-2, and I saw the key in the chest, and I'm like, "Fuck it, Jason, I'm going to hell." Nice. So I grabbed the key, grabbed the chest, and in 1-2, there's always a shop. In the shop, there was a jetpack, I think a box of bombs, and if the compass wasn't there, it came later in the run. But I robbed that, killed the shopkeeper. So I had a gun, a jetpack. Oh no, it was the paste to make sticky bombs. So I got the paste, the jetpack, and a gun and a box of bombs in this shop. And from then on out, it was like the run was tailor-made to get me to hell. Like I got a good reserve of bombs. I had a couple of close calls in the black market. Right before getting to the black market, Jose Jimenez showed up in the chat, and his first comment is Wu-Tang. And I'm like, all right, this is where we're at. So between the two of them, you know, just Jason Marshall going, go, 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 and Jose going Wu-Tang. I'm like, you know, I feel pretty good. So I just sort of settled in and tried to keep myself calm. I got to Olmec, beat Olmec, and then got to hell, and was nervous as shit throughout my entire hell run. I got to Yama, And then I took the wrong chain up, and when Yama slams his hands, a skull hit me in the head, taking my very last life point and ending the run. I've been talking about it since it happened. Like I basically I've looked at Reba multiple times and just said, it was so perfect. It was set up for me to be done with Spelunky. And as heartbreaking as it was, like that moment is something that just meant something to me. And very little has been that this year. But my two favorite moments of the year in games from 2018 are the panic attack from Celeste, which is something that is handled with unparalleled grace, and it really puts the player in Madeline's shoes, trying to figure out how to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it too much, just because
you don't want to take away from the experience.
It takes away if you actually. I mean, even if you do the game on full assist mode, which is possible, and that's why the game has such a high platinum count, because you could get all the trophies full assist. But doing that was something that I'd never really thought a video game could show me, and it showed me. And then my second moment is going into the zone in Tetris Effect. Where all of a sudden the pieces stop falling and you just have to basically put things, you have a certain amount of time to just clear as many lines as you can. And this is no matter what kind of mess you made for yourself. It doesn't really end until the zone's done. And that is a cool addition to a really great game. So yeah, those are my moments. One of you can take it away.
I'm on the ball. So I'm going to start from the bottom and come to the top. Best moments. First honorable mention, Chains of Chaos, God of War.
Yeah, good one.
When you go back to your house and they've just been tucked away this whole time. Mm-hmm. So you're like, nobody else found them. You get them. And then, you're at a moment in the game where like there's a lot of rage like built up. And Kratos, he's just like, I'm just trying to get my wife's ashes to where I want to, where I can give her a proper burial. And you just wield those things and lay waste, So that was a pretty good moment. Enjoyed that. My number one honorable mention is progression in Dead Cells. So like Dead Cells is awesome in a way that like you play the game and like you'll die. But it's not like, and I'm not saying Dark Souls is this way, but it like you kind of hit a wall with Dark Souls where you're kind of like, all right, I'm going to put this down and maybe come back to it later, because you might be tired or something like that. But like with Dead Cells, it's difficult, but you'll die and you'll just be like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go again. And you just jump into the game, and then, okay, the next run you get turrets, and the turrets help you beat the boss, and then you move on to a third level that you've never been in before or anything like that. And then your runs get longer and longer because you understand your enemies. So I feel they did a great job with progression and their risk and reward system. So that is an honorable mention, number one for me. And my number one best moment in video games this year is the end of Spider-Man. Just everything. The culmination of the last boss fight, the interaction with the boss. There's the choice at the end. There's also the after credits. There's also the interaction between Peter and Mary Jane. What's going on there? There's just a lot. Personally, I feel they did a great job. We all know there's going to be a sequel. We all know there's going to be a sequel to Spider-Man. But if there was not, they did a great job of not leaving cliffhangers. Except maybe one at the very end. Like, you're kind of like, hey, what's going on with that? Mm-hmm. But all in all, I would say 90% of the game is wrapped up. 95% of the game is wrapped up. They did a great job of bringing an awesome game to a close. And so that was my number one moment of the year. Corey, what you got?
I mean, two moments really come to mind for me. It's the God of War when you get your chains back. I mean, that's number one. That's what really
how Kratos got his groove back, basically.
Yeah. Although I do love the axe.
I do, but the chains are, you can't beat the chains in a God of War game. I'm sorry, you just can't. And then there's this moment in Shadow of the Tomb Raider where Lara kind of thinks she lost everything, even though spoilers, she doesn't. She's just lost. And there's all these big explosions. You're in the river, and she just walks out of the river, and it's silhouetted. And I posted this picture on my Instagram, but when she's like walking out of the water with the fire behind her, and she just goes on a murdering rampage and like shoots down 2 helicopters, and it's this insane moment that you're just like, video games, man.
Yeah.
Video games. But it was a cool moment when she walks out of the water and she pulls her hair back in a ponytail and just walks kind of badass out of the water that's on fire. It's a cool moment. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys, this was hard because I didn't play a lot of video games that had epic moments this year. So that time I beat Tetris, got 150 lines, and it said, "Congratulations, you win." That was a big moment for me this year.
You were like, I'm done. There's nothing more I can do.
I'm like,
I can't wait for you to play Tetris Effect, man.
I can't play more Tetris. I'm done. I'm the best. I beat Tetris. Just the best.
You're the best.
No competitive Tetris for me. Done. I'm retired. I'm retired from Tetris.
Okay.
Matt doesn't like my Tetris story.
I mean, no one cares.
It's because he's playing Tetris Effect in VR. He thinks he's cool now.
I didn't play it in VR today. I played through the entire campaign in standard definition. It was great.
Us 2D Tetrisers can't keep up with the VR.
Oh, you can play Tetris Effect without the VR. You can.
Yeah, you can. I have.
I know.
It.
I know.
I have played it. Well, I don't know it, but you know.
But once you play it in VR, you look down on everybody like they're scrubs.
No, I didn't. I don't do that. I played it without VR today. Scrub.
No, listen. Don't try and throw shit at him. Don't try and put him in a box. Don't try to put a label on him.
Next category: best score.
I'm starting this one.
Yeah.
Because there's only one moment in score that it just needs to stand out. That moment when you walk out of Kratos' house and it's the very first funeral scene of his wife when he sets it on fire and the music just amps up and like that the vocalist just gets like, just epic moment, man. Music, man. The music in that scene alone is like the best scene all year. It gets you in the feels, man. I'm not gonna lie, I teared up. That's an emotional scene. So,
any other scores?
Just Shapes and Beats has a really cool soundtrack.
Okay.
The whole thing, it's just good. Okay. But I suck at the game, so I didn't hear it all. So I had to go to YouTube and put it on a playlist.
I suck at the game.
Isn't Just Shapes and Beats not a 2018 game?
No, it came out this year on Switch. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Moose?
Leave him alone.
Leave me alone.
Leave him alone.
Leave us 2D Tetrises alone.
Honorable mention number 1 is Hollow Knight. Great score.
That's a good goddamn score. It really
good
is.
Soundtrack. Love it. Honorable mention number 2 is Spider-Man. Had a good time with that. Good music accompanying all the combat and the tense moments as far as like interaction in between the characters go. But I agree with Corey. My number 1 is God of War. God of War had an amazing soundtrack. Just throughout was just awesome. So they did a tremendous job with it. So those are mine.
I agree with both of you guys. God of War has a really goddamn good score. Unfortunately, it's not very listenable outside the game. That's just the difference. That's just the difference between us three. Like,
right, like you like to listen to your stuff Like
I like to separate it just to see like how it works that way.
You mean Matt likes to listen to music?
Every so often. If
Corey doesn't. I'm in the middle. I'm the middle.
I'm the music guy.
Yeah,
no, you're not. That's a goddamn lie. Don't listen to him, listeners or viewers. He's a fucking liar.
My best score is Tetris Effect. It was Celeste for a long time this year.
And then Tetris just came in and said, "Fuck your couch."
And then Tetris
Celeste
Effect came and just said no. Celeste is a very close second. The main score of the soundtrack is great. The beat, what the various artists do to remix the songs for B-sides, specifically Too Mellow's remix. I don't remember what it's called, but it's on Spotify. You can listen to it. That is one of my most replayed tracks this year. Celeste has great goddamn music. Lena Raine deserved the accolades she got for her music. It was nice to see her at the Game Awards performing her music with an orchestra. It was well deserved, and I hope that she does more. Gets more of a shine on her music career, because like she's done big scores. She did scores for both Guild Wars games.
Nice.
So like she's nothing
to laugh at.
She ain't small time. She ain't new. She's good at what she does.
Well, good.
And
that's good for her.
My third favorite this year is Donut County. Donut County is a tiny little indie game, a very nice, easy breezy platinum. It's actually really fun too. It's not like a bad game. That's an easy platinum. It's a very good game. That's an easy platinum, and the score is great. It's very hip hoppy, very electro poppy, and there are a couple of songs that use the quacking from the text in that game really well. Like fucking play Donut County and listen to that song. Listen to that music. Celeste and Donut County specifically are on Spotify. I don't know if God of War is. I know Tetris Effect isn't anywhere right now, unless you go look at edits on YouTube. But
YouTube.
But Tetris Effect is a beautiful suite of songs that are. It's just really hard to defeat even with a contender like Celeste. And I was sad when I had to say, nah, Tetris Effect is better, Celeste. Sorry. Moose? That's all three, right? That's all of us, right?
That should be all three, yeah. Okay. Score.
Next. Best story.
I mean, I wonder if all three of us feel the same way, but God of War for me is still the best story this year. Followed closely by Lightfall. You really have to look for it in Lightfall, but
you have to find those runes and stuff.
Yeah,
see, I finished Lightfall, but I don't think I did any of that, so I didn't get the story.
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot, like maybe the first 3 or 4, and like it was super interesting, but I wanted to play the game, and like I know it probably would have been a lot on that team, but I wish the lore in that game would have functioned as like an audio log that you could listen to while you're playing through the level, and try to absorb it that way. But I thought the story from what I read in that game was super interesting, and that world is super interesting. And Darksiders 3 made my list for best story, just because it's so dumb and over the top and weird that sometimes you just need that in a game.
You need a bubblegum game. You need an action game. Like an action flick. You go to the theater to watch an action flick because you're like, just a popcorn movie. I know this is going to be dumb, but I want to have fun with it.
And like, I really, as much as I liked Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I have no idea what happened in that game, except that, Lara picked up a knife that started the apocalypse and she had to find the box to put it in. Like I have no idea what else happened in that story. So whatever. Game was a good game though. It's fun to play. have no idea what happened when it was fun to play. That's most games for me, though. I don't pay attention. So, but God of War, I think, is number one for me. It was really just kind of like a touching story, and like it was interesting playing that story, going from not having a kid to having a kid in the span of me playing that game, because my perspective kind of changed a little bit. Not that like I had 20 years of experience having a kid in like 2 months, but you know what I mean? Like just there's just this weird feeling inside of you that changes when you have a kid, and a lot of things shift perspective and stuff. And it was interesting seeing that perspective change playing that game. So yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
Moose?
Best story. My first honorable mention is Death's Gambit. I'm gonna go with that. Great story of redemption.
The way he uses flashbacks is really awesome.
Yes, I like that. I like that a lot. The death, one of the main NPCs in the game, messes with your character a little bit. I like it. Honorable mention number 2 is God of War. It was a great story. This came down to like, this was like one of those photo finishes for me. Both my number 1 and my number 2, it's like equal and equal, but because I had more fun with the controls and the combat, I picked number 1 for my story, and that is Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man's story is really good. They did Insomniac Games did a tremendous job with the IP, creating a storyline outside of the comics and anything else that's ever been done. I look forward to the sequel. We all know a sequel's coming, so that is going to be awesome, and I'm pumped for that. Like I said, they did a great job of telling the story and kind of in keeping it self-contained, leaving a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end. But if they did not come out with another game, it's a great self-contained story, personally, or a self-contained adventure of Spider-Man's, I should say. You know, but I think it's just great. Good character development with Peter, Mary Jane. What's the name? Who's the other character?
Miles
that you
Morales?
did? Yeah, Miles. With Miles. I wanted to say Miles, but I'm like, I don't know if that's right or not. But Miles had some good character development. Had its ups, had its downs. I think it ended on a good note. So that was my favorite story of the year. Matt, what you got?
For me, I've got a bit of a winding one here.
Ooh,
my honorable mentions, I have 3 of them.
Jesus. Okay.
I'm just gonna mention them briefly. I think Octopath Traveler story is really good.
Okay.
Despite being a heavy-handed as fuck JRPG, like I feel like it's a really good story. It's the first time that is Square, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time Square has done something that is very reminiscent of the Tales series, and I feel like they sort of showed their hand as like, this is why we're better than Tales in a way.
Yeah, Bandai Namco.
And I think that using 8 characters with 8 different stories rather than just doing the same story where you have to grind forever is a smart thing. And I think that they should be sort of rewarded for that. Also, I thought Spider-Man's was really good as well, for all the reasons Moose said. But I also want to throw in Adventure Pals. And the reason I throw in Adventure Pals is because I feel like there's not enough zany absurdity mentioned at the end of the gaming year, because I think on some level the giving awards to games still wants to be like the Oscars, and the Oscars aren't good about that either. But Adventure Pals is a bonkers ass story packed in a floaty controlled bonkers ass platformer that's so fun to play, and I don't expect anybody that plays this game on my recommendation to walk away going, wow, this is one of the best things I've ever played. But it certainly does. It's certainly fully aware of the bullshit it's trafficking in, and it revels in it. I mean, how else can you deal with a person named Mr. B with a fishbowl on his head that wants to turn old people into hot dogs? How else?
That's true.
I mean,
Can't.
How else do you deal with that other than knowing your own bullshit? But the two best that I will say are God of War and Celeste. I feel like Celeste is more of a personal. I found a lot of personal reflection in the Celeste story. Mm-hmm. Also, I think God of War is a very sprawling narrative that is more about real life issues than its mythological issues. And the Norse mythology, especially through Mimir's storytelling, is analog through that. Because all of that is a bunch of weird daddy issues in a way, and it's told masterfully. I don't really. There's nothing really more I can say about it. That story is told in a way that I would not change any of it. So I think. Is it you now, Corey, or did you go?
I went.
So all three of us have gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now is our final category, gentlemen. Best indie. I like doing this category last because Moose and I love the indies, and Corey's just like, I don't like indie games.
I played indie games. I played a lot of indie games.
I'm fucking with you, dude. But yeah, best indie is this is the indies' time to shine. On Nerds Gone Rogue. Yeah, you could show me that finger all you want. I know you got two of them too. In fact, this is a finger waver. How about you go first?
All right, best indie game, Dead Cells, for me this year. Dead Cells is a good game.
It is.
Everything on paper that I hate about games somehow pulled me in. Yep. It worked. Roguelike, procedurally generated somewhat kind of stuff. Combat's good. Gameplay's good. It's fun to play. So
pretty soon you'll be playing NetHack like the best of them.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So, yeah.
Anything else?
Lightfall. It was really close between Dead Cells and Lightfall for me. I fell in love with Lightfall when I played it. First I saw it in one of those Nintendo Nindy Showcase Direct things that they showed off. I think it was in the spring. And then I went and played it. I played it at PAX when I went this year. Fell in love with it. And I played it with a weird, I don't even know what kind of controller it was. I didn't play the Switch version. I played the Steam version. And fell in love with it there. And I was like, you know what? I'm waiting for the Switch version. It's going to be fun. And I was right. That game's fun. The Gardens Between was also on my list. It's like just this really laid back kind of easy puzzle game, just real serene, and the graphics are just kind of simple and calming, and it's just fun. And then last on my list is Iconoclast. That is a fun game. That's a really cool, probably one of the best Metroid style games that came out this year.
Game has some style to it too.
Yeah, and the story is super interesting. So I just want to give a shout out to the indie platforming games that kind of were telling great stories this year, because it's awfully hard to tell a good story in a platforming game. Celeste is on my list too. Like, man, Iconoclast and Celeste are telling some good stories, man. And Lightfall to an extent, but you have to find that stuff. But
yeah,
so that's kind of my list of best indie games. But Dead Cells, I think, is definitely number one.
I'm gonna go next because I think I feel like between Moose and I think Moose might like indies more than I do. So I'm gonna let him be the final word on indies this time.
Is Bloodborne an indie game?
No. stuff. But I do have a lot I want to mention, so I'll be quick and brief. I want to mention Iconoclast. I want to mention Donut County. I want to mention Yonku's Island Express, Gardens in Between as well.
Donut County's coming to Switch next week, by the way.
Nobody cares.
You should play it.
I am. I'm waiting. I was waiting for the Switch version. I was like, I don't want to play it on TV. It looks like a really simple handheld version, but I also don't want to download it on my phone.
Well, yeah, it's been on phones forever. It's weird.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll wait for that Switch version.
Like my top 3 are Into the Breach, Dead Cells, and Celeste.
Woo! Number 1 Celeste?
Number 1 is Celeste.
Dude, I was so excited for Into the Breach, and then I found out it was a roguelike strategy game.
And you were like, fuck your couch.
I didn't even know it was a roguelike until I downloaded it and played it, and I was having so much fun, and then I had to start over. I was like, nah. Are you kidding me?
Are you out of your goddamn
You're just
mind?
like, fucking Matt, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got me again.
Actually, it was Giant Bomb who was talking about it.
Yeah, they've been talking about it all year long.
And somehow I missed the fact that it was a roguelike. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, they found a way to make that, like, Subset Games found a way to make chess a roguelike. It's real weird.
I was so excited to have a like mech style, like Final Fantasy Tactics meets Fire Emblem. Disappointed. That should have been on my most disappointing games of 2018.
No, it shouldn't have.
No, I didn't put it on there because, like, as soon as I realized what it was, like, it's not that it's not a good game. It's just one of those games that's not for me.
At some point, it's whether you actually like it or whether it's bad.
Yeah. I mean, I have a few games like that, you know, where it's just like Hitman, for example. What we talked about last week was like, I can see how great this game is. This gameplay is just not for me. Like, I can watch somebody play this game all day. I just don't want to be playing it, you know?
Yeah, like the problem with me watching Giant Bomb play those games, I keep on wanting to do what they did.
Yeah.
And I have to sort of smack myself and say, no, don't be Vinny.
Those aren't free yet, are they? You have to be subscribed to watch those. Watch them play Hitman, right?
I didn't have to for Hitsmith, no.
Is it on their YouTube page?
I just went to their site.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up because I really want to watch them play that first game.
Hitsmith 2016, like Vinny's performance on the Paris level is something to behold. Like, you watch Brad play through it, he takes a long time, but then you watch Vinny play through it, and it's a completely different bottle of disaster. And because eventually he's like, yeah, I should wait. No, I'm just doing this. We're doing this. Fuck off, all of you. And then, like, the rest of the crew just riffs on it in such a brilliant way. So indie games. Moose, the defining indie presence here on Nerds Gone Rogue.
I've got a long list here.
Good.
Good list.
I want you to settle in. I want you to dig in. I want you to just spill out everything.
All right. So I'm gonna give some shout outs. There's some indies on the indies on the Switch that were good, that I know are good, but I haven't had a chance to get to yet. So they're probably going to be might be in my category for games I need to play in 2018 that I play in 2019. So I'm going to go with Into the Breach. I'm going to go with Messenger. I really wanted to try Messenger, but I just didn't get to it.
That game disappointed me in ways that I was
right.
So
right.
I hope I didn't put you off that, but if I did,
by the way, cool soundtrack for the Messenger too. By the way,
yeah, the soundtrack is pretty badass.
Yeah. Okay. See, there you go. I'm gonna roll right into Time Spinner. Y'all haven't checked out Time Spinner. I think it's on PS4. I'm not sure if it's on Switch yet, but it's on PS4 and Vita. It's cross-buy. Check that out. That game is pretty cool. It's got a really cool Metroidvania feel to it. It's a good game. I'm gonna go with Chasm. Love Chasm.
Thought we were done talking about Chasm.
Goddamn. We're about there, Corey. This will probably
because I saw it on the bestsellers list of my Switch the other day, and I'm like, game just won't go away.
2019, year of Chasm.
Anyways, so Chasm is good. It's a good game. Check it out. I haven't played it. I hear it's awesome. Guacamelee can be on that list. Just getting some
really good.
Yeah, stellar reviews. Death's Gambit, I highly recommend if you're looking for a side-scrolling Souls-like game. That's amazing. Love that.
Scythe weapon for the win.
Yep.
What?
I'm gonna have to go with what is now my top 3. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Celeste. It's number 3. It's a great game. It's a good. I feel it's a great. It makes me. It feels as close to Super Meat Boy as I can get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Super Meat Boy. I like the Twitch jumping, like all that. But it adds a nice mechanic. No spoilers. So it adds a nice mechanic to the game, which just, I feel, kind of takes the gameplay of Super Meat Boy to the next level. So I've enjoyed playing that. It's awesome. Check it out. Number 2 would be Iconoclast. Iconoclast is awesome. It's legit. You can play it on Switch. You can pick it up on.
You can play it on your Vita, for fuck's sake.
Yes, you can play it. It's cross-play on your. So is Chasm on your Vita and PS4, and so is Time Spinners. I believe it's cross-play. I know it's cross-buy. Like, you buy it at one, you get in the other. So anyway, so you've got some games. If you still got a Vita lying around, you can take them with you. And then my number 1, I got to agree with Corey. My number 1 indie for this year is Dead Cells.
See, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to indies.
Dead Cells. So, like, you got
best game ever.
Yeah, you got a lot of good games out there. And see, here's the other thing. Like, you don't need a tremendous story to be a really great game. And I'm not saying that Dead Cells doesn't have a good story. I'm just saying, it's kind of like the Dark Souls games, where it's kind of like it's second to the gameplay. Like, they make the gameplay the most important thing, and then they tell the story in the background. And that game is just awesome. Like I said, you'll be playing and you'll be like, man, I'm ready to go. As soon as you die, you're like ready to go on the next.
It's like the fuck back in it. We're doing.
Yeah, you're like, I'm ready to jump back in this. Oh, I want to beat that enemy, and I'm gonna kick their butt, and I'm gonna move past them. And like I said, progression, will just help you move through that game, learning what weapons you want to take with you. How do I beat this boss? Turrets. Drop down some wolf traps, lock them in place, and then just use like the sinew slicers, or the there's a bow. There's like a bow and arrow turret that shoots like arrows. You just sit there and drop those down, and then if you got a ranged weapon, shoot them from afar, and you don't have to deal with the boss. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I still need to beat it, but it's just because it's so good. Like, there's levels you can play in that you don't even need to beat a boss to get to the end of the game, which is cool. So it's awesome. It's a good time. It is definitely a good time, and it controls really well. That's the other good thing too. So if you're looking for a lot of bang for your buck, Dead Cells is definitely.
And I don't care if his name in the game is the prisoner. I call him Dead Cells guy. He's low key one of the better characters of the year, just because the way he reacts to shit.
Like when he reacts to that big pile of bodies and realizes that it's just him.
Or like when you're knocking on a door and they're like, "Go away," and he's like, "Mm-hmm."
He's got like that. He's got that what's his name? Deadpool type reaction to things. Like it's funny. Yeah. It's really funny. So, but those are my indies.
Well, that brings the 2018 Game of the Year categories episode to a close.
Yay!
I have been Matthew Keel. You can find me at infinite_rewind on every social media platform I choose to be on. And alongside me are my bros. Moose, where can we find you?
You can find me at Svhenn on all social media platforms that I choose to be on. Yeah. You can also check me out. Co-hosting Nerds Gone Platinum with Jason and Jeff. We go live Tuesday nights around 9. the podcast goes up for listening pleasures on Thursday mornings, usually around 10 o'clock. You can tweet us at NG_platinum, or you can write us questions, comments, and concerns at nerdsgoneplatinum@gmail.com. That's it.
Cool. Corey, take us home.
Well, you can find me at CoreyHG86 on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on Nintendo Power Block and Arsenal X, and and a few episodes of Nerds Gone Platinum, including a recent one, depending on when this goes up. Yeah, you can find me on a plethora of other things. Can't really think right now. I'm too busy trying to get my other Game of the Year stuff ready. But anyways, you should check out all of our podcasts, including Nerds Gone Platinum, Arsenal X, Nintendo Power Block, and of course, Nerds Gone Rogue, and a few B-sides. Check out a few B-sides.
There's some
Anyways,
Game of the Year B-sides coming up.
yeah, there are. There definitely are. So, yeah, you can find Nerds Gone Rogue every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on your platform of choice. Not missing a week.
Nope.
Not doing it. Doubling up. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we love you.
Banana and out.
You're welcome.